We are back here, Triple Radio Show, an alternative means of psychedelic masturbation, with your boy Willie K, Jenner G, and Hardy Brooklyn. So a new person has now entered the freakdom
with her presence.
world, with her presence, of course, and she is an entrepreneur, and she's into different sets of Edric Bull. She's into shows and other different underground scene stealing ideas. Anyway, Rosie Badass will probably be best to tell you when we get there.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on the Triple Radio Show.
Wonderful. Just remember to talk into the mic so that we can hear you better. So, Rosie, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
Just sound like a little bit low. Oh, here, I'm doing it. Just sound like a little bit low. Maybe we can see if we can get some volume. Go ahead and say something else on there.
Me.
There you go.
Okay.
Wow, look at that. There you go.
Perfect.
So, Rosie, man, so tell us more about who you are and, what do you do. And what
Hi,
you
I'm
do.
Rosie Batty. I am a New York captain for the Cannabaddies, which is a movement, a group of empowering women all around the world.
Badasses.
Yes, we are baddies. Canna baddies, obviously. So what we do is basically we try to promote women in everyday situations, mothers, sisters, daughters, whether they're in school, whether they're working, whether they're home, that it's okay to be a cannabis user. I also help support women in their businesses. If they're just starting out, we try to see who's out there and who's new and who needs promotion so we can cross-promote everybody. Our message is basically to help bring together the community of cannabis. But me personally, I go a little extra because I have a little bit of, I don't know, I'd say some time in the kink lifestyle. So I am now trying to bring both of them together.
Yeah, all right. Kink is a good thing. Kink's a good thing.
It is.
How long you been?
For quite some time. I would say maybe, I don't know, early teens maybe. Kink, not so much. I'm still a baby. I would say maybe like a decade.
Wow.
Within this field, I see that that's a common factor we all have. We like to smoke.
And get kinky.
And get kinky. So I try to marry the two, especially in my edibles.
Which are amazing. I've
Thank
had
you.
them. That's
Thank you.
fact the whole time in Vegas.
Like most edibles, you know that they all come in sweets and candies, but we do a little bit extra for those who are at work, who can't do the obvious and, be munching on a nerd rope or something that's obvious, or they don't like sweets altogether, so we have snacks that are salty.
Okay. Well, if you can probably display some of these
Absolutely.
things, so I can see, because I'm thirsty.
And another thing that's really common right now is the nutcracker juice, which is a drink everybody is selling. Ours are infused as well with cannabis oil. So they're infused nutcrackers.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question, Hardy, actually, because you've been in the scene a little bit longer. Is there anything different between a generation of kink as per when you started and when a new person such as Rosie, is there any difference of understanding or application of things or anything of the such like?
One thing.
There's a big difference. The older kink people treat cannabis as not the drug that it is. So in the kink scene, it's kind of really frowned upon, especially in the party scene. Like if you're going to go out and smoke a joint, people are not typically going to do a scene with you when you come back. And that is changing, and that's being a little bit more of the underground. And right now, the courts are really having a hard time with it because people are taking back consent after, so it's a really gray area for the dungeon master and the responsible parties. But people are consenting before, they know they're getting intoxicated, they're defining their limits. As long as people are really respecting those and not breaking them, it's been working out. It doesn't work out in the older scene. The mindset is not there.
Do you agree?
I agree.
Okay.
I do agree.
Did you want to add something, Jenna Jane?
I was just going to say the only difference with Hardy and his experience is that he has his lifetime membership card. 'Cause he's been in it for a really long time.
So
He's got that card.
So we're gonna go through look through some of these things. What is this that I'm holding?
That's the brownie, the baddie brownie.
Nice. Was that peanut butter?
Nope. It's brownie batter. It's just when it cooks a certain way, so that's the softer part of the brownie, but it's not peanut butter. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
And how strong is that, bro? It is.
Okay, so all the edibles are 250 to 300 milligrams. Like these bigger ones, obviously, are 300. The smaller ones are 250.
Per package.
Yes, per package.
Whoa.
These are a good
They're
seller.
really good.
Doritos.
Doritos,
The ranch
ranch
ones.
Doritos,
Yeah,
which
they're
you
really
can't really
good.
find everywhere. Yeah, Cool Ranch Doritos.
And the Chex Mix.
The Chex Mix. We have
That's
Chex Mix.
that's a favorite of mine.
Yeah, Jen knows about that.
I know about all of them because I've
Tricks.
had everything on the table.
Please stop banging on the table.
Yes. We have spicy sweet chili Doritos as well, and we have flaming Cheetos, and we have Takis. Those are the new ones that are coming out. Yes.
Making gummies.
Oh, we have our gummies as
Oh,
well.
Gummies.
sweet. I think I'm going to get a pack of those.
Yeah.
Gummables.
Yeah, I want to get some gummies.
These are super yummy and they're easy to just keep in your pocket, and you can't smoke. You just need a little pick me up for 1 or 2. You're good.
Sweet.
Wow.
Sweet.
Wow.
These are the famous nerd ropes.
Nerd ropes.
If you like nerds, you'll love these. And I love these because the package actually says it right there. The activation is in 60 minutes.
Ooh.
These themselves are for 20. So
Wow.
Yeah, I got to get one of those
Right.
too.
We order the glycerin and stuff ourselves and all of that, so they pack a cake.
We're not going to be able to hear you from back there, so we just hear
that's
someone in the
okay.
background.
I'm going to repeat that.
Yeah, that's important information.
Yes. So basically, these are different from the regular nerd ropes.
Mm.
The glycerin that we use is a little bit higher in potency. That's what makes our edibles a little bit different. The ingredients that we use. So these nerd ropes are definitely different than the ones that you see everywhere else.
Okay. Didn't you have a slushy?
We do have a
up
slushy.
here?
So today we have what we call the Orangi Kush.
Ooh, Rangy
Because
Kush.
it's our little citrusy drink. As you can see, they're super icy still. So I'll let you hold that because I don't like the cold.
Oh,
That
There
looks
you go.
good.
They're best to shake them up when they're like this icy, and then pop it open, take a sip.
I'm sure everybody like to.
You look really excited.
How long does this take to kick in?
I'd say about 20 minutes
Oh.
because it's infused and it has alcohol, so you have the two marrying each other in that drink.
350 milligrams.
Yeah.
CBD.
Is it always
350,
350, you said?
milligrams
Oh, wow.
in the drinks, yes.
like things like this? Is it best to just drink it or kind of peace drink it when things like this? If you want to get the
depends.
full
It really
effect.
How
depends the
hardcore
person.
you're trying to go,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like somebody like me, I start off at 5. I start my night with 500 milligrams.
Exactly. So this would be like whatever you smoke, and then this on the side while you're doing whatever.
Chasing.
Right.
So
Chaser.
like when I leave the house, I'll literally eat 500 milligrams worth of brownies, and I'll put some
Yeah.
gummies in my pocket. I'll put another brownie in my pocket.
Oh wow. Wow, but it is a good business, right? It's a booming business.
It definitely is. I like to think of it as like adult bake-offs, you know? When's the last time you seen a bake sale? So this is like an adult bake sale. Ooh, let's go see what the goodies they have.
And you know you're
wanna
going to be
try
feeling
some-
nice after
Yeah.
you visit.
Does it take long to make?
They do take, each one takes its own time.
Mhm.
They all take long, they do. But the process is easy. It's just, you have to wait because cannabis is something that you have to know how to work with it.
Mhm.
It's temperamental.
Mhm.
So you definitely want to make a good product that tastes good as
Mm.
well.
What are some? what are common mistakes people that make edibles do?
Woof, that's the easy one.
Oh.
I can't taste it, so it's not strong enough, so I'm gonna like overdo it in the milligrams, and then you get something that's like, you can't eat it. You're gonna taste the cannabis at some point. It's edible.
They don't pre-process. They don't pre-process it so that it doesn't taste as good. So if you go through and you actually process the cannabis properly, it doesn't taste as bad. Like when
Right.
there's an amateur making something.
Yes, you do.
And it fools you because it just tastes like JUIs.
Yes, it does.
And then I guess later on when it I guess so, yeah. But yeah, but we definitely before you go up tonight, we're definitely gonna get your contact information in terms
definitely.
of where they can find you at, where they
We
can
will
find
give
your
you
product.
all the information
at,
about Batty Bites.
you know. So we're gonna talk a little bit, a couple of more things tonight. And so this is more of an opinion thing. So this is gonna be a little group thing. We're gonna come back to some
Sweet.
we're gonna come back to some trippy stuff later on. Recently, a friend of mine passed suddenly, and do you want to try to explain this, or should I try to explain this?
Well, the subject was talking about if someone has the right to tell another person not to attend a service for someone that's passed away.
Well, that part I know. I was talking about the scenario. Oh, I'll do that.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
You do that.
All right, this is what happened. A friend of mine recently passed away suddenly. She had complications with, I guess, her liver. That complication with the liver, whatnot. They passed. It was found out that one of the people in her life kind of contributed to the demise of her health. And one of those things happens to be a certain narcotic or a certain drug. I'm sorry, a certain narcotic or alcohol. It was more so like the alcohol that more so contributed to her demise. And unbeknownst to us, her immediate friends that drink with her and whatnot, the person who kind of introduced her to that particular narcotic or alcohol was specifically targeted as don't come to the funeral. That's her best friend and stuff. So it's like few of us hung out with her in that same capacity. But however, she's the family or the representative of the family said to this particular person, don't come to the funeral because it's your fault that she got on this drug or was drinking too much or contributed to it.
That's where it starts. That's where the issue is, because this was an adult person who was making whatever decisions she felt were right for her, regardless of how she was being swayed or who she was doing what she did with. We ultimately all make our decisions and have to be responsible for them. So it's I don't think it's fair to put that on another person.
Oh no, I ain't got no gun. Go ahead, Marty.
I agree. I think that unless did the person know that she was killing her and then continue to support it?
The thing about it is, like I said, it's everybody knew. We didn't look, like I said, why she died is we all grown. Everybody's grown.
And no one knew why she died and was told about that until after the fact. So it wasn't that somebody was like, oh, we know you're really fucked up and you have some issues, so let's keep partying like this.
Oh.
It wasn't. It was people were doing something that they had that was a commonality. And one person being grown and things being expensive, you're not trying to be forcing anything on anybody. You want yours if that's your thing. And for somebody else to be their thing to say, okay, you're not welcome to come to their funeral. If they were, whatever their relationship was, that they were friends, that's not for anybody to be deciding that, I don't think. I just don't think that it's fair. People can do that and can be that way and say, don't, or have somebody, instruct to not let them come in or something like that. But
I think that one of the things we need to think about is that the people that have just suffered that loss, that are the family members, are blaming them, have to take the blame. They have to find blame on someone.
Right. That's all the process, the grieving process, too.
It's not really, they're not being guided through the grieving process properly. They're just kind of like, hey, it's not our fault. It can't be her fault because she's our daughter or she's our child. It had to be the people around her.
You have to blame somebody else.
It can't just be the way it was.
So I pose it to you, Rosie. So in a nutshell, your best friend passed. Your best friend passed, and you put her on, let's say, edibles, or you put her on the edibles or alcohol or whatever it is. Now the family's blaming you specifically because you started her doing it.
Right.
So now the funeral's here. We don't want you to come.
Right. So, my opinion. I would hope that the person who passed away, my friend, would have one person that would at least think without being in their complete feelings about the situation, and then maybe pose a time where this person that is not welcomed by everybody in the family can have time to grieve with the person who passed, alone with no one else, so that they're not disturbing the family. But to say that the person has no right to come and pay their respects and say goodbye, that's kind of, I don't agree.
I think all of us said the same thing. That people could say, "Fuck it, I'm going anyway." I probably my suggestion is go early when it just starts.
Right, when there's no one there.
Because I doubt the family's gonna be there as soon as it starts. Get there, get in for everybody, get out and go out, or go with a group that's also in the same caliber of class. I hung out with her like that. Y'all go together, and then it's same thing. But I don't. Everyone deserves their own right to mourn. I mean, you're not gonna see her again. I mean, that's not really for you to say.
It also, I feel like, can go into how important that ritual is to you, or that whole, because that's what that is. It's a ritual of having a funeral and preparing a body and having a viewing and all these things. For me, it hasn't been something that's been a necessary, like, I need to have this, or I need to go and be a part of this and see this, for me to have some sort of finalization. Because I don't see death that way either. I don't see it as a finalization, and I don't think that it's the end of things. And
well, now when you say it like that, you don't see death as finality.
Right.
How do you see it, and how can you?
Because I see everything as energy, and I think that our energy, we're in these physical bodies in this existence for the time that we're here, and when that's over, the physical body dies, but our spirit and our essence it's not even containable in our physical body. So I don't believe that there's death. I don't think that our spirits ever die. I think we just.
So still, what does that mean, though, as it relates to the
I don't
situation?
believe that someone dies and you have a funeral and you put them in the ground and they're there forever, and you go and put flowers there and talk to them there, because I think they're always here. I don't think that they ever leave. Just the physical body leaves, and I think that there's more than just a physical body, and I think there's more than just this existence.
She's basically saying she just grieves differently, and I think that everybody needs to really understand that everybody has a different path that they're going to travel on, and everybody's going to grieve and process it very differently, and everybody should be able to process it properly in a way that's going to be beneficial to them.
And in their own time, for sure.
Yeah. But processing grief through anger is not processing it correctly. You need to get really professional help.
It's just blame. No grieving and no moving forward.
Which is very understandable in the way that Hardy put it, that a person doesn't want to. My sister died of a drug overdose, and my family, my grandparents, my mother, blamed other people, blamed the person who introduced her to smoking pot. That was my family's thing. The person who started her with that's what led. My sister died of a heroin overdose, and my sister got into her overdose, or into her addiction. That was her choice, all where she ended up, and in the end of it being an overdose, that was all her choice. And to try to blame someone else for that is just part of that process when somebody just dies. I'm sure that they were really in shock and were just like questioning why, and why did we not know, and why did we not see it, and blaming themselves. And then in doing that, it's real easy to be like, oh, it was them, because you don't want to take it and you don't want to put it on your child or your husband or wife or whatever, you know.
And I think a lot of that is really, rooted in our culture here in America and in society, because my life, I involve around people that do a lot of drugs, and a lot of people have OD'd or shot themselves or gotten hurt due to some stupid things that they've done. And I do notice that there's a lot of blame that comes from certain types of people and certain generations of people. And I feel that the Europeans, like, somebody OD'd a couple of weeks over during COVID, and they had a nice memorial for the person. They didn't blame anybody. The parents didn't. They were like, well, he was kind of stuck at home. What do you expect? He's mentally, he had mental problems, and they take it for what it really is. Because when
really
you're
have to
ODing,
accept it.
it's because you need help. You're not ODing for any other reason. You're ODing because you need help.
I think that the family gets upset when they feel that they've been completely left out, and they're like the last ones to find out everything. That's really when they have to be like, okay, wait, we have to blame everything
Yeah, you're
and
looking for
everyone
somewhere
else
to place
because
it.
I didn't know this was going on. In a situation where there are people that know, then that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, no. Well, you know what? But the thing about it is family did kind of know. They tried to do. They did try to do an intervention on for themselves.
Hold on. So that's the first mistake. They should have brought those friends in to that intervention and let them know. So that, to me, like if I was their grief coach, we would actually be working through why did they keep the people that were causing the problem out of the intervention and not educate them.
But the thing about it is that but the thing about it is those people that still do it, they still do it. So how are we going to go to? How would they or us go to an intervention for somebody to stop doing something that you're still doing with them?
You stop doing it with them. You have. I've done
For those,
I've done interventions for friends that have huge acid problems, use Molly problems, and those are drugs that I pretty much still do much heavily. I just don't hand them to them anymore because they can't handle it.
No, she was a functioning addict.
Right.
No.
But there's a
I think
difference
about
between-
functioning user.
Correct. There's a
Functioning
difference
user.
between but she can function, but how is her body functioning after?
Her thing was mostly the alcohol part of it.
Right.
And like
but you can see that in a person.
So that's like the coke user telling the crack user, you really need to stop doing that.
But you know what? Sometimes
so-
they do tell you that. I
Yeah.
mean, I've had friends tell me, like, listen, you've been doing way too much Molly. You've been doing way too much acid. You need to stop. And what are they doing at the same time they're saying that? They're doing ketamine and ecstasy.
Exactly. So
I switched it up.
so I'm saying. So are we in positions to tell our friends to stop using if we're using with them?
I don't really think anybody's in a position to tell anybody else what they should be doing.
Absolutely.
I don't. That's not where I am. I don't think anybody should be doing
You're
that.
only allowed your opinion, and even then, you have to be careful if the other person even wants to hear it.
But you can talk to them. There's nothing wrong with, like, I mean, I've literally had friends come up to me and be like, dude, you've done Molly 7 days in a row. It's time to stop.
Shoot.
And I think that's just the level of care that friend has for you to say, hey, I see you're being a little reckless right now. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think people do that in being friends, and they're not coming from a place of judgment. It's coming from a place of like, I'm here with you too. I'm doing the same thing, and you're doing it a lot. Like maybe you just take a look at it.
Then why not start with yourself? Then why not start with yourself saying I should stop as opposed to you should stop while I'm still doing it with you?
No, you're having the conversation. You're letting them make that decision.
Right.
If they decide they want to stop,
It's not saying
then you
have
stop
to.
giving it to them. But like for in my circle of friends, for alcohol especially, that's like the most taboo drug. Because that's the worst. Like alcohol for your body is way worse than Molly, ketamine, ecstasy, acid, mushrooms, opium, cocaine, maybe not.
All the
depending on what's
drugs.
got to it.
Let's just say all the drugs.
So in my circle, we watch, and you can usually tell when somebody starts going into an alcohol problem because their skin changes really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they change, all of a sudden they become dry parties. Because we know that they can't control it. And it's a legal drug, so it's so hard to control. But so many of us have made that decision not to drink.
But the thing about it is, no matter what we do in terms of drugs, we need something to keep bridging us from point A to point B. So you can't. So you have to have some type of alcohol balance in order to cross
No, you
that
don't.
bridge to a drug state. Yes,
No,
you
you
do.
don't.
Sure, you do.
I don't drink.
Well, that's you because you. Well, you know what?
I don't either.
You, okay,
Wait, okay, so that's two.
You don't either what?
I don't drink. I drink my little sippies, but I don't drink hard liquor. And no.
Never. Are you sure? I'm not just making
Yes.
sure.
Yes, I have served you, sir, but I myself have not drank.
I mean,
Oh.
and you have to remember that the other thing you want to be aware of is in the fetish scene, alcohol is looked on way worse than marijuana.
Fair enough. Okay, well, which is true, but for a lot of drugs, for not everybody, okay, not everybody, but for a lot of people, alcohol, like if you, let's say for example, if you're gonna do coke, the thing about it is the lifespan of a line or a bump is very short. It's very short. But I want to.
Depends on the quality. Depends on the quality.
Depends on the quality.
How
But
big your diet was that day.
And then you have to make sure that how much has been chopped up, and then you have to see if you bought it from the same person, and if they got the bullshit or they.
You
switch
heard
it
all
over to
this,
something.
right?
Well,
You just heard this somewhere.
but previous experience in another lifetime. But the thing about, let's say, for example, whether it's cocaine, for example, the thing about it is the lifespan of a bump or a line is very short-lived. So alcohol kind of prolongs.
No.
No.
Wait.
No.
Before you do that bump, 1 hour before you're going to do your bump, eat a gummy, then do your bump. 1 hour before you're going to do that bump, drink alcohol the whole time and see how much better you feel from the gummy or the alcohol.
It's not about it. No.
Yeah, because you can
And how much
definitely.
longer that bump lasts.
Okay, that's why they got. That's why they
Right.
got. No, it's just.
This is from a pro.
No, but it's sophisticated to have a drink while you're doing your drug. That's
No, it's not.
That's always been the marriage. That's always been the
That's
marriage.
old school.
That's
That's
still
cliche.
The young
That's
kids
what
don't
that
drink.
cliche, man. Behind.
I'm telling
No.
you. I've been going to raves all pandemic. And the one drug that I do not find at any of the raves, aside from kava, whatever that drink is, kava with some alcohol, is drugs. There's no beer. There's no hard liquor. People are not bringing it to the raves. Because they want to be able to wake up and be functional. They want to do like
Yes.
5 hits of
Okay.
acid and work the next day.
However, but now we're talking ethnicity. A lot of black people or people of color are usually, I'm not saying, I mean, but it mostly is white or Asian based people that go to raves. Now, as we're talking to,
It's pretty even.
no, it's not. No, it's not.
Well, the ones that
No,
I-
it's not. No, it's not even. No, it's not even. No, it's not. No, it's not. Totally disagree with that. But what I'm saying is, for the most part, in a lot of situations, alcohol and certain drugs, it does go hand in hand in terms of the prolonged. Like for cocaine, it's social. So it's something that you can talk over. It's almost like a narcotic dinner at the dinner table. You can actually talk and blah 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 da 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 blah blah. So there is a sense of commonality with alcohol
I think that's
and drugs.
I think that's an older generation.
That's not an older generation. Who does
I
it?
agree.
Today's youth, a lot of them are a lot of them are in their systems. A lot of celebrity people have cocaine in their system or something like that. Alcohol's in the system, so it's not uncommon to add alcohol to your intake.
I don't know, when I reffed soccer and was in the high schools, which wasn't that long ago, pre-COVID. I mean, you never caught kids with alcohol. You would catch them with cocaine, you would catch them with ecstasy, and you would catch them with weed, and maybe some mushrooms, and that was it. There was no alcohol. It's heavy too.
Yeah.
So-
They don't come in plastic, do they?
What?
What is what? Does what
Liquor
come in
bottles.
Feel how heavy
plastic?
this is.
Right.
And I feel how heavy this is.
Right.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I'm
but
gonna feel one of them later because I'm getting one of them.
so, but to keep it to just keep it in perspective, the thing about it is still my point that I'm making is that you can't really tell people how to facilitate how they want to get high.
Correct.
Some people might need alcohol, some people don't need alcohol. But this particular case, it was more so alcohol than the narcotic itself that that did that. So it's I agree with everyone. I don't think that you have any right to really tell people not to be there. Even if they introduce that person, even if they introduce them to them, you think they still deserve to be there. If you introduce somebody to edible, they over edibilize, then they die, and somebody found out it's you, Rosie, that gave these edibles to such and such. Now look at them. You shouldn't come to the funeral.
No, I should still go to the funeral.
Are you still gonna go?
Yes, I would still go. Right.
Are you still going?
I don't think I would go because I would be the family of the person that passed away. I'm a friend to that person. That's not my family. That's their whatever their wishes are. I know what my friendship was with that person and what my relationship was with that person. And once their physical is no longer here, I don't need that. I need to go and see somebody's dead body. I don't feel that. I can make peace with the relationship that I have with that person. I don't need to do that by showing up or letting people see me and ended up getting into an argument with people. Like it's disrespectful and there's no need for that. And I would want somebody to respect me if I felt that way, and maybe that's really closed-minded, and I don't think that I would ever feel that way, but if I did, I would like to think that people would respect my wishes because my person just died.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Hardy Brooklyn.
If I was the one that gave them the drugs
You're the one. You introduced it to them.
and physically gave it to them,
Yeah.
And they told
mean-
you don't come. Are
Yeah,
you
and someone
going?
from the family told you don't come.
I mean, I'm really good at bucking society's trends, but in a lot of situations, certain times it's more important to not make a situation, because if you were told not to go and there was that much anger and resentment,
It's already a situation,
gonna become
and
a
it's not
scene.
hasn't even begun.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
it's gonna prevent
I
everybody
say
from
that I will
breathing.
go, but not ever to, like I said before.
Right, like you said, was beautiful, and maybe even do that if that person feels the need that they really want to go and see
Right.
their body, then reach out to the family and say, I know that you don't want me there, I understand it, but I would like to
Right. That's
say my
exactly how I
piece.
would.
Yeah, but-
Could I
but-
have 5 minutes by myself before or after
But-
everything's done?
but it wasn't-
like Rosie said. I
but-
think that would be beautiful.
But it wasn't like the mother or the father. It might have been maybe the brother or something like that. But the thing about it is,
Whoever it was, the whole family's talking about it. For the brother to say that, everybody's like, yo, if so-and-so shows up, it's going to be on. Like, they shouldn't come. There's going to be a problem
That's
because
what's gonna
our
happen.
person is
Exactly.
dead. Just,
The
you know what I mean?
the energy is already there.
and it's not the energy, it's the way that Jen is talking about death means she's come to terms with it, and she understands it. The way that those people are talking about death, to them it's still a big fear, it's a big unknown, and it's creating so
course, they're
much negative
angry.
energy and so much anger, but all of that's coming from fear.
okay, I
So
get
why
that.
create more?
Okay, so you say not to go because of from the energy aspect of it just contributes to something that's much more bleaker, much more dangerous, much more anger.
yeah,
That's what
and
you're
just
saying.
not needing to have that. I'm at whoever passes away or whoever has so far. I've made my peace with that person. Do you know what I'm saying? Even, like my grandmother, for example, I wasn't told where my grandmother's funeral was being held, so I didn't even go to my grandmother's funeral. But I had a friend who was a nurse that was taking care of my grandmom at the time that she passed, and she called me and said, your grandmom just passed. And I was able to go to the house. She passed away in the house. I was able to go, and she was in her room, and I had, said my piece with her, kissed her goodbye. But I didn't go to her funeral. and I don't feel like she doesn't think I didn't love her, or that I wasn't or that she wasn't as important to me as she was, like, because that part doesn't matter to me. The physical part doesn't matter. It's not here. They're not here, but the memories of them are, and the feeling that I have when I think about them is, and that's never going to be taken away, and it's not going to be added to by me going to see their dead body. Like,
Well, I mean, that makes sense. But for certain people, the tangibility, I have to see them. I have to make my closure.
then they
So-
should maybe try to do it in a
so-
respectful way by saying to the family, is it okay if I come through 5 minutes before the service or 5 minutes after and say my piece with so-and-so, because I felt really connected to them, and they were an important part of my life. I wouldn't go there with some rah-rah stuff like, oh, they told me I shouldn't come. Well, I got the right to be here.
Yeah,
because
definitely not.
That's not
Funeral's
the
a
way to
private
go.
event.
Well, that's
It's not a
not
public event.
Well, that's why I said.
Absolutely.
So that's why I said, come at a time to get there when you don't think they're going to be there.
Well, but I think it would be
I mean-
better to be adult and communicate that and say, is it okay if we do this? Because you don't want to go into a situation where people are like, you are not welcome here. I don't want to go anywhere I'm not welcome.
Well, if you already
like,
told-
I don't want to
but
go
yeah.
anywhere I'm not welcome.
Yeah, but the thing about
I was
it,
welcome in that person's life for as long as I was. It doesn't matter now.
I think the
That doesn't
problem
matter.
is that everybody in the situation is approaching it selfishly. They're not
For
approaching
sure,
it from the
for
point of
sure.
view
Okay.
of community.
Okay.
And in America, we way too many times approach things about, it's all about ourselves. It's all about what we want. It's not about what the community wants.
Mm-hmm.
And for somebody to go, whether it's a funeral, whether it's a wedding, doesn't matter what the hell it is.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody that was asked not to be there because they're going to create negative energy, to then show up to create that negative energy, that person is
Just
doing
keeping it going.
disjustice to society as a whole and showing everybody how selfish they are.
And so's the person who's saying don't come. Like, do you know what I mean? They're both showing from a selfish
Right.
standpoint, but it's just to start to do extra is just
Right. And sometimes
It's
the
not
people
necessary.
say, sometimes there is a messenger from a group of people, because there are certain families that really, honestly, culturally resent people, and people are very different. And it's really hard for people. I mean, in my world, the amount of clients that I have that their parents have cut them off, their uncles have cut them off, their brothers have cut them off because they are transgender, because they're gay, because they're different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of these things are the same. And when you start pushing the buck, why create that additional energy? Because you're selfish, that you need to grieve in your own certain way?
I don't know if it's always selfish. I don't know if it's always selfish.
it's not selfless if you're
Right.
if you're overshadowing what somebody else is saying, and it's not for the other person too. Because isn't a funeral supposed to be a way of honoring someone? So you would think that people wanting that person to be honored would be like, the more the merrier. Everybody that loved this person, that's great that you're showing honor to this person. If they're not on that page, you don't need to get on it with them, like, because you're gonna have problems.
I think if had they said, and I don't know if she said that, but if assuming this, if the brother had said, "Don't come, my mother and father don't want you there," that's different.
No, it isn't,
No, it's
because
different.
everybody
It's
knows
different.
why
No,
he
it's
said that.
different.
Everybody knows why he said to who he said, "Don't come to the funeral." That was that. There was no this is a message from my family. None of that. It's the whole family has been talking about that shit, and you're the reason that they're the cause of it for them right now, because they're in a state of grieving because they just lost their
So
person.
anybody in their family could say it. Anybody.
It doesn't matter. Everybody.
Yeah, it does
do you
matter.
know when you heard that
It does
message? Do
matter.
you know why that message was sent?
The thing about
No
it,
matter
wasn't
who
sent-
it
it
was
wasn't sent
sent
to
from.
me.
I know
So
it
that's
wasn't
why.
sent to you.
So
I'm just
no, I
saying.
don't.
But
I was like,
but do you know why that message was sent to the person that it was sent to? Do you have an understanding of that?
I do.
Okay, well there you go. It doesn't matter whether it came from Uncle Joe or
Uncle Bill.
cousin, whatever. It don't matter.
BK.
The whole family, let you know, the whole family, if you didn't know, feels this way. So it doesn't matter who in the family felt that way. Or the person could communicate and ask the family and see if it's just the uncle that's angry or if it's everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
By communicating and talk to the family.
All
And see
right.
what they say.
Okay. Have mercy. I was telling the person I gotta move this way, that way. No, they saying no that way. Okay. Excuse me. All right. We're actually getting ready To wrap this up, we got about another 5 minutes or so. But I do appreciate the insight that you guys gave. So when tomorrow comes, because it's supposed to be happening this week. So when tomorrow comes, if I'm asked, well, Will, what do you think? I'm still stuck. I'm still stuck.
I think what you need to go to the person that's in question and ask the person and say, listen, I know you want to grieve. I know that you want to do this, but do you want to create negative energy that could potentially be a fight? And they can call the cops on her when she shows up, because a funeral is a private event. It's not a public event.
Right.
So do you want to add to that or not? Do you know what I mean? Do you want to add to that, or do you not want? And if you don't want to add to it, if the person is looking at it in not a selfish way, then they can communicate and say, hey, look, it's really important to me to be able to say goodbye to them. Could I do that? I know that it's been expressed to me that I'm not welcome there, and I'll respect that, but I would still like to, just even have a moment. Can I just
reach out to an expert, a professional, to help them through the grieving process?
They're not going to do that. I mean, especially
then they shouldn't be expected to go.
So that's that. All right, I got what you. What would you say, Rosie?
I say you have to ask. You have to find a way to ask if you can attend. You have to. You can't just show up. It's gonna.
It's not gonna be good.
It's gonna cause a problem.
It's gonna
Come
blow
on.
up in her face.
We all know.
She's gonna look like crap in front of everybody when the family goes off on her. And do you really want to be that person sitting in the chapel where the fathers and the mothers screaming at her, telling everybody how much of a drug addict, alcoholic she is?
Exactly.
Why? Why do I want to put myself in that situation?
And that it's definitely leaving room for that to be a reality.
I mean, I guess people that have had more death around them treat it differently, but
I guess I gotta sleep on it. Now I gotta sleep on it. I definitely gotta sleep on it. Anyway, Rosie, before we get out of here, we're gonna.
This is amazing, by the way. Did you mention that?
The JUI.
Really
it's definitely.
Because of the ice that it's.
Now I'm realizing why they keep doing like this.
It's sneaking up on you. I told you.
All of a sudden, I just keep.
Yeah, because you see how much he drank of it already. I only had a sip so far. You almost had half of it.
So that's pretty good though.
So you can find her at Instagram.
I'll get to that. I know how to do this part. But anyway, your product is great. The juice is definitely.
I'm so glad you
very
like.
Very tasty. Honey, where can they find you at, and what you have
You
anything
can
coming
find the Baddie Bites is still up and coming, so we're not promoting on the website at the moment, but you can go on Canna Baddies on Instagram, Canna Baddies NYC, all one word. And you could definitely hit me in the DM.
What it say? CK?
KANNABADDIES NYC, all one word.
Okay. Coolio.
On Instagram.
On Instagram, hit me in the DM, and I'll definitely get that info for you.
Okay, cool. And you have any events coming up?
Not at the moment. Canna Baddies, the organization I'm with, we do have a photo shoot coming up in April.
Yeah.
So April 11th will be the second part of our Canna Flicks photo shoot. But that's it for now. But definitely stay tuned, and I definitely will keep you guys in touch.
Cool.
And keep me stocked with edibles, because they are.
Yeah, that catch me out. Meow.
Got you.
Jennifer, what can they find you at, honey?
At Jen Tattoos with a Z, JenTattooz at Yahoo. On Instagram, also Jen Tattoos. If you're interested in a cuddle session, you can reach me at cuddlist.com/Jennifer L.
Okay. L Crazy Hardy Brooklyn, where can they find you be?
You can find me at Hardy, HARDY, Brooklyn, spelled just like the borough, .NYC on the web and on Instagram.
I forgot you just got the shortest thing. And me, your boy, and of course your boy William Kirksey on Facebook. You can also find information on the Trip Up Radio Show on Facebook. Also, you can check us out on Instagram, Trip Up Radio Show on Instagram, or WILLBEEKAY, which is Will Be K. I hate the way it's spelled, but that's the only one I had available on there. But anyway, we will be back next week.
Thank you, S.STREET Media.
I was just going to say thank you to S.STREET Media. I know, because I felt like I just had more I wanted to add to it.
Well, go ahead.
S.STREET Media, check us out on their YouTube page.
Okay.
Their channel.
Oh, okay. All right.
All the way there.
Like I'm forgetting this part.
Well, I mean, you
And
were
if you'd
saying
like to
some
perform any
older
cool
person things.
acts
We thought
with
maybe we
Will,
forgot.
send us a message.
Oh gosh, why y'all listen to these people? Y'all crazy on here. Anyway, on next Sunday we'll be here at S.STREET Media at 9 p.m. or 9 p.m. something like that. But we'll be here next
Something
week.
like that.
So definitely check us out, and on YouTube. You can check us out on YouTube. Some of the old shows, new shows, and things
there's
in
a
between.
whole bunch of
There's a whole
content
bunch
on there
of
now.
ones, and
Yes.
and that's when they keep being added. So yeah. So once again, I'm your boy Will B K, Jenna G, Hardy Brooklyn, and Rosie.
Thank you.
Later,
Thank you.
it's a Trip Up Radio Show, an alternative mean to psychedelic masturbation. Wow.
Peace.